Broadcasting live across Edinburgh, throughout Scotland, and around the world. This is Edinburgh Student Radio Station. This is freshair.org.uk.
This is freshair.org.uk. This is Tom from the Music Team Hub Show on our first broadcast post-lockdown, and it's an absolute pleasure to be joined by Blaine from the Mystery Jets. How are you keeping?
Hello, mate. I'm keeping, very well, thank you. Very good.
Fantastic.
All things considered.
Exactly. Mystery Jets have just released their sixth studio album, A Billion Heartbeats. It was previously meant to be coming out in September, and it's been a while coming after postponement. How did it finally feel to get the album released?
Yeah, it feels really good. It feels great to have the record out there in the world. I'm not going to lie. It's a very strange time to be releasing music.
Yeah,
but you know what?
exactly.
It's a strange time to be alive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
realistically, so I actually feel quite thankful that that we've still been able to get the record out, and I think actually in a funny way, I think music feels more needed than ever right now, and I feel pleased that we've had the opportunity to actually
exactly.
get out there
Yeah.
in the world.
I mean, it's exactly that I want to come on to with the album, because it's been described in various ways. For example, as a State of the Nation record, and from my listening, it's emphatic, it's powerful. I really, really like it, and it really sits well with me, especially in the current climate. I mean, talk to us a little bit about where you got the inspiration for writing this record, and a bit of background as to how it came about.
So the songs on A Billion Heartbeats were all written during around an 18-month period where I was living as a property guardian in an empty building right in the centre of London, just off Trafalgar Square. And my job essentially was to stop the building from burning down or people breaking in and messing it up. So I was there kind of as a human guard dog.
Yeah.
But what was quite special about living there, other than the fact that it was just totally surreal living bang in the centre of London, was that this was in periods beginning of 2017 to around the middle of 2018.
Yeah.
So obviously we were in the wake of the EU referendum, Trump getting into power, the refugee crisis, Brexit, all this stuff was happening. Obviously Extinction Rebellion,
of course,
bridges were being taken over in that time. So London was just this real... it was a very explosive time.
I bet, yeah. It was quite a volatile time to be living in, but I imagine, because for me it was quite distant just being in the news, but I mean, if for you it must have felt so close and had quite a profound effect.
It felt like being in the eye of a storm.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a born and bred Londoner. I mean, I've lived here my whole life, and I've never seen this kind of political activity living here. I went on the anti-Iraq war march when I was a student in 2003, 2004. There was two of them, and I really felt quite dispossessed about politics in the years following that, because it very much felt like the voices of people living in this country were not listened to, and we still went into a war that we had absolutely no place in.
Exactly.
And it wasn't until about 2 or 3 years ago that I suppose I started to take an interest in politics again, and not in the popularity context of politics, but just in the sense of what we can do as people, as ordinary people, to hold our government to account.
You can't. It's something that's quite easy to forget at times, and it's moments like this. I think, like in 2017, it tends to come out quite a bit more, and I can see it in the album as well. It seems, in comparison to other albums that you've done, it sounds very more explicit, more urgent. Do you feel you had somewhat of an urgency with this album?
I think we did, because I think so I never wanted the record to be a political record, but what I wanted to do was to engage in conversations which were happening all around me. I mean, they were happening, whether it was conversations about gender equality, conversations about men's mental health, toxic masculinity, about Brexit, about Trump. It just felt like a time where all these conversations were happening, and I felt like the media has whether you read the Guardian, whether you read the Telegraph, whether you read the Sun, Daily Star, whatever newspaper you pick up has a conscious bias to it. There is a rhetoric, and I felt that actually by going to protests, I could just use my own ears, and I could actually listen to people's voices,
of course,
coming marches from all around the country.
Yeah,
because there is this view that protests in London represent this sort of liberal elite, this sort of gentrified population of the gentrified proportion of the population, which is just not true. When you go to a protest in London, people come on coaches from all around the country. And what I found is that by going to Trafalgar Square almost became my TV.
Yeah.
It became my television. And I wouldn't go there to sing and to shout. I'd go there to read people's signs, to have conversations with people, to listen to people.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we're kind of forgetting how to do in this age.
Because you're right,
in the information age, in the age of Twitter, we're all becoming very good at shouting. We're not so good at listening as we used to be.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it must have been very cool and very, you must have learned a lot from those experiences, because I suppose protests would be the root of these more frequent conversations that we're having about different issues, whether it be about climate change or, like you say, about masculinity or any of these topics. It comes, I suppose you've seen that it comes a lot from these grassroots protests and movements.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of people that don't like protests, and I understand that, and I think you can be an activist without having to go on a protest. I mean, sometimes just being yourself is the most political thing you can do.
Exactly.
And what I mean by that is that if you're, for example, if you're from a marginalized community, not living in a major city, you're sort of a political figure by proxy. And I think that also, is an incredibly important thing. I think it's really what we wanted to do was to celebrate people who are standing up for what they believe in. And it was very important to us for the songs not to be preachy, not to represent one side of the spectrum or one side of a conversation, because a conversation is two people learning.
Of course,
from each other.
Exactly.
And that's what a good argument is. And I think I started watching Question Time quite religiously, I suppose, over the leadership debate, and I felt like that's not what Question Time is. Question Time is not people listening to each other. Question Time is people having an argument on stage, because it gets good viewing figures. It's clickbait. It sells newspapers. It's spats. That's what That's what what the.
And it can really suck. Yeah, it can really suck as well. It can feel like it doesn't attach. It doesn't feel right. Something feels disjointed about it. Yeah.
And I think what music can do is music can just it can create a much more. I think it can leave a lot more to the imagination, because if you're writing about particular divisions in society, you can allow space for people to take what they want from it, and it's why I never like explaining our lyrics, because I think actually people's interpretations of lyrics are far more interesting than me rabbiting on about what inspired a song. And I think that's what my favorite records are. My favorite records are, records of music where I've attached my own experiences and my own readings into those lyrics, into those songs. And that's what I think music has the ability to do. It can communicate a feeling without telling you what to think.
Exactly. That leads me very nicely onto a question I was wanting to ask about some of your songs, in particular Hospital Radio. As a radio station, of course, and as a radio presenter, it did strike quite a chord. And it made me reflect a bit on how Hospital Radio is such an important institution, as an example of these, especially now, having such a powerful role in bringing hope and brightness to people's lives. And I'm aware that you visited quite a few hospital radio stations prior to this. How was that to visit them, and how did it feel being there?
It was incredible. It was incredible because I've had, as someone with a disability, I've had to take quite large chunks out of doing my job over the years. I've had to go in to hospital for quite regular MOTs, being sewn up and have bits of surgery, and we've had so many kind of cancelled shows, festivals and things over the years. And I don't want to bore you, but I've got so many pins and screws and things inside of me. I'm basically I'm hand built by the NHS. I'm sort of half NHS built. Yeah. So for me, it felt incredibly important to use whatever platform we have as a band to express our gratitude and pay back our thanks to the NHS for for being there. And having travelled a lot as a group and toured on both sides of the Atlantic, I can genuinely say that getting ill in another country is a whole other thing. I mean, I got unwell when we were making our fourth album, Radlands, in Texas, and it was cheaper for me to fly home to the UK to see a GP and get some antibiotics.
Seriously? That's
absolutely
insane.
And I think the figure in America is something like 45% of the country are uninsured. So it
God,
really
it makes you
is
think,
no
doesn't it?
joke. It really does. And I think, the past 3 weeks living in this country have been so eye-opening in terms of us all coming to our front steps, our windows, our porches, and clapping for the NHS each week, because we all know how important they are, but I'm not sure we express it enough, and it's often not until we get sick, it's not until we are actually in desperate need of medical attention that I think we really do truly appreciate. Well, not until our parents get ill or we have an elderly relative going to hospital, I think we really, really truly appreciate how lucky we are to have it. So our song, Hospital Radio, was our chance to engage in that conversation. Really.
Yeah, you can really can see it now, and it is such a difficult time, but it is really quite overwhelmed to see all this. And I noticed as well, staying on the topic of the NHS, that you've been selling quite a bit of charity merch as well, which has been really cool. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we designed a shirt to raise some funds for the NHS for a particular charity called the Scrub Hub Club, who are a really amazing organisation comprised of volunteers who are getting together to make scrub hubs, which are essentially workshops where people are making scrubs for the NHS entirely funded by donations. And what they're doing is that they're making medically approved scrubs, which they're sending off to GP surgeries, to NHS hospitals, because as we all know, there is a huge shortage of PPE amidst the coronavirus. So we dedicated a proportion of our profits from these shirts to go straight to these scrub hubs, and essentially each T-shirt sold pays for a new set of scrubs for an NHS worker. So they sold out. It was incredible. They sold out in a day.
Oh, that's insane! Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. But
well done, guys.
We're just we're awaiting the next drop.
Fantastic.
So we'll have those up in the next couple of weeks.
That's brilliant. And unfortunately, we're running out of time a little bit. I'm going to mention that you were meant to be coming to Edinburgh on the 16th of April. I think, Stan, you should be coming back in November time. So are you looking forward to being the prospect of coming back on tour?
I am. I mean, I'm not excited by the headlines that pubs are going to be closed till Christmas. Because if that is the way that the cookie crumbles, then we'll have to move our tour for a third time.
Exactly.
I mean, we are going to come. We're going to come there. We are going to play.
We can't wait.
by hook or by crook.
Yeah, exactly. And just a final thing, if you want our listeners to take one message from this album, what would it be? It could be 3 words, it could be 2 words, it could be...
It would be next time you come into contact with a doctor, a nurse, an ambulance driver, anyone who works in the NHS, just say thank you. That's all you need to do. You don't need to buy them a box of chocolates, just say thank you. I think they all need to hear it right now. That's the message I'd leave.
Fantastic. Well, Blaine, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Mystery Jet's 6th album, A Billion Heartbeats, is out now, so please go and listen to it, give it some love. And Blaine, we'll see you when you come to Edinburgh in November.
Great, I'm really looking forward to it.
Thanks so much.
All right.